Hello everyone, this is Gail from Pretty Presets, and today I wanted to share with you a little bit more about customizing your presets. I'm sharing this along with a blog post that I did, and the reason I decided to do a video is because I know that some of you are a little bit more visual in your learning, so it might actually help you to watch me as I customize these presets. And I want to really emphasize that customizing these presets is so simple. So the first one I have here is the first image I shared in this blog post, and it shows this couple standing. It's a vertical image. And I have added the preset called Baltic from the Make It Matte collection to this photo. And I really like the effect. I don't think it needs a lot of adjusting, but I do think that it's a little bit dark on them. I want them to be a little bit brighter. I want them to pop a little bit more. So all I'm going to do here is come over here to my basic panel. I'm going to open it up, and you'll see that this effect reduced my exposure just a little bit on this image. But this image is really nicely done straight out of the camera, and is actually, maybe let me drag the original over here. So I just want to lighten it a little bit back to how it was straight out of the camera. So I'm going to increase my exposure just up a little bit, and in this case I increased it from -20 up to +20, and I think that that helps this photo just a little bit and keeps his face especially from being just a slightly underexposed. So really quite simple there. So the next thing that I'm going to do is show you how to reduce a matte effect. Now, I talk a little bit about this in the post, but matte effects are usually created using the tone curve. So we are going to adjust the matte effect using the tone curve. So for this image, I have used matte black and white, or matte BW, from the Pretty Pastels collection. And I'm going to open up my tone curve over here, and this is what your tone curve will likely look like when you open it. I am going to click on the point curve. Now if I come over here to the bottom right of this panel and click on this point box, I will get a point curve that looks the same, but it's got some of these little dots on it. And I'm just going to click on those little dots, and I'm going to drag them down. Okay? And if you watch my photo, you can see that I'm reducing the matte effect for this. So if I come over here to my history panel, I'm going to do a before and after, but I've actually moved this to be my before, and you can see over here, here was the original with the matte effect added, and then over here is how I've adjusted the matte effect. And maybe I've taken too much of it away. You can continue playing with this and adjust it, you know, to make it just right for you. So really simple to do that. And don't get afraid by the tone curve. Sometimes I used to be afraid of the tone curve, or the curve in Photoshop, and so that scared me a little bit away from the tone curve in Lightroom at first, but it's really not scary or anything like that. So the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to edit this photo, and I'm going to undo the before and after. This photo, I have used the Pink Skies preset from the Pretty Pastels collection. And this is actually one that I really like. I like kind of the pink color that it gives. I'm a huge fan of pink. I'm just going to put it out there. So this may not be your favorite preset, but I really like the pink color it adds to this photo. Now, I think this is great, but if you happen to think that maybe there was a little bit too much pink in her skin or his skin, and you wanted to reduce that pink effect just a little bit, this effect, and most tones that are applied to a photo, if it has kind of a tone added to the photo, it's likely done with the split toning panel. So if you come over here to the split toning panel, there's a couple of things you can adjust. This one doesn't have a split tone added to the shadows. Some will. This one only has a split tone added to the highlights. So I'm just going to click on this and reduce it, maybe about down to there. And you can see how it kind of took out some of the pink from her face and maybe his skin a little bit too. Now, if you have a split tone added to the shadows as well, you can adjust it also here a little bit with the balance. You can adjust whether the highlights, the tone in the highlight shows more, the tone in the shadows shows more, and I talk about that a little bit more in my post. So let's move on to this photo. This photo, I've added the Rosewood preset, also from the Pretty Pastels collection. And I like this preset overall, but of course I think it makes them look a little bit too dark. And I'll come over here, I'm just going to move and show you the before and after of the original. I think it just makes them a little bit too dark. And this photo is maybe a little bit underexposed anyway, so that didn't help when I added this preset. So let's just adjust this. I'm going to take my brush tool over here. The brush tool is located on the right side of the develop panel, just right under the histogram, and that's on the far right. And I'm going to choose PP Add Light, which is one of my favorite brushes that I use frequently from the Perfect Portrait collection. And I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to brush this brush on them. And I'm going to brush it over all of them, not just on their faces, because if you just brush a brush on their faces, then it can actually look a little bit fake, okay? And if I've done this, I think maybe this adds a teeny bit too much brightness to his shirt, then I can just show my overlay by typing the OK, or not the OK button, the O key, and selecting Erase over here. And then I can just maybe come over here and just erase it a little bit from his shirt. Let's see how that looks, if that looks strange or not. No, I think that looks good. In fact, I might even come up here and do it a little bit more right here on his shirt. Just keep it from blowing anything out too much. And I think that is actually quite nice. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to show you what the preset looked like before, just originally added, and what it looks like now after I've added the brush tool. Okay, so really simple again, a simple easy adjustment that makes that preset perfect for my picture now. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to adjust a preset that's used some filters to get this effect, and for this one I've chosen a Luminous collection preset. This one was horizontal angelic top, and when I click on my radial filter over here, because I know most of the presets from the Luminous collection use either radial filters or graduated filters, and the way to figure out which filters it uses, see here's a graduated filter that's also used in this preset, so I can just click on both of these filters to see the filters added. Okay, so the ones I want to adjust are radial filters, and it's these ones that are over here on their faces. I can do a couple of things. I could totally delete this preset just by selecting it first and then tapping the delete key. That would totally delete it. But I don't think I want to do that. I still like the effect added to this photo. It's just a little bit too much here on their faces. So another thing I could do would be to actually then move the filters a little bit. So I'm going to move them just off to the side a little bit so the effect is a little bit less on them. And then maybe just move this one over to the left as well. And just like that, and this one I think we can maybe then pull back just a little bit. And I can show you a before and after of what it looked like. Oh, there, it's already done. This is what it looked like with just the angelic top preset added, and this is what it looks like after I've adjusted those pins. Now another thing that I could do, I'm going to go back to how it was before, The other thing I could do is if I have Lightroom 6 or the most recent version of Lightroom Creative Cloud, I can click on this brush tool here. I can show my overlay, and then I could choose the erase tool, and I could actually erase this effect if it was too much from their faces. So can you see how this erases the overlay? But it's not just erasing the overlay, it's actually erasing the effect from over their faces. Okay, and if I want to adjust another one, then I can do the same thing. I can just erase it a little bit. And then we can see how that looks, you know. Oh, I forgot to erase the back of here. I forgot to erase the back of his face over here. So, let's just quickly fix that. We don't want to miss their part of their faces. And maybe I've undone a little bit too much here. I don't know. You would have to decide that, because you can always add it back. You know, if I wanted to add it back, I could just click back on my A tool. Well, first I've got to quickly select my pin, select this one, and maybe I've erased too much. So I click on my brush tool, I select the A, and then I can just add it back as well. So I'm not locked in either way there. So super easy ways to adjust these presets. It really depends which way you use, depending on the preset that you have. So knowing a little bit about Lightroom will really help you out with this. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope this helps you adjust the presets that you have, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.